Hello students, today we are discussing our next topic from module 1, that is levels and flow of communication. Levels and flow of communication. So before reading this or studying this topic, we people must know that we talk at different levels for our different purposes. So generally there are 5 levels at which we talk. So these 5 levels are: number 1, extra personal, extra personal. Number 2, intrapersonal, intrapersonal. Number 3, interpersonal, interpersonal. Number 4, organizational. Number 5, mass communication. So these are the 5 levels at which we talk: extrapersonal, intrapersonal, interpersonal, organizational, mass communication. And at every level you can see that there is just an increase of number of people. Extrapersonal means when we talk, this extrapersonal, extra personal. Extrapersonal means there is something extra beside this person. So when we talk with our pet animals, means talking with pets, talking with pets. When we talk with our pet animals, this is extra personal communication. So communication between human beings and non-human entities is called extra personal communication. For example, when your pet dog comes to you wagging its tail as soon as you return home from work, it is an example of extrapersonal communication. A parrot responding to your greeting is another such example. More than any other form, this type of communication requires perfect communication and understanding between the reader and the receiver. At the least, one of them transmits information or responds in sign language. So, in this extra personal communication, you must know that when you talk with your pets, so your pet generally transmits information through sign language. Pets use sign language. Sign language. And we people, because we can know how to talk, so we just use words, and we can also use sign language with the pets. It depends. Okay, that how you talk with your pet. So extra personal communication involves pet animals. They can also talk, they can also understand you. And we have discussed the examples like if you have a pet like dog, a parrot, a cat, so you talk with them with sign language. They talk with sign language. Okay, another, that is intrapersonal. You are seeing the word intra. Intra, in, within. Intrapersonal. A communication which occurs in yourself, which occurs in yourself. Intrapersonal communication. This takes place within an individual. This takes place within an individual. Are you understanding? When you talk with yourself, this is an example of intrapersonal communication. This takes place within an individual. We know that the brain is linked to all the parts of a body by an electrochemical system. For example, when you begin to feel hot, the information is sent to your brain and you just decide to switch on the cooler, responding to instructions sent from the brain to the hand. In this case, the relevant organ is the sender. The electrochemical impulse is the message, and the brain is the receiver. So later, the brain assumes the role of the sender and sends the feedback that you should switch on the cooler. So intrapersonal communication means when you talk with yourself means some ideas coming in your mind and you just responding to it. Yes, suppose you are seeing that there is raining. You are watching that and you just go to your window to see it. So the information comes in your mind and you just reply to that information. Okay, come to the next level, that is interpersonal communication. Interpersonal. The word itself is showing that somebody else is there. Interpersonal. Interpersonal communication. Interpersonal means when you talk with others, like communication at this level refers to the sharing of information among people. Sharing of information, sharing of information among people, sharing of information among people. To compare it with other forms of communication, we need to examine how many people are involved, how close they are to one another physically, how many sensory channels are used, and the feedback provided. Yes, so in interpersonal communication, there are lots of daily situations like when we talk with the family members. You can also talk with the shopkeeper. You can also talk with your friend. Yes, you can also meet with your boss to give some information. Okay, so this is interpersonal communication, sharing of information among people. Yes, interpersonal communication differs from one form of communication in that there are few participants involved. It is different from intrapersonal because here there are some participants. Okay, few participants involved. The interactants are in the close physical proximity to each other. There are many sensory channels used and the feedback is immediate. So one of the most important feature in this interpersonal communication is that when you talk with other people at the same time you can get feedback. Okay, you can get the feedback immediately. Also, the role of the sender and the receiver keep alternating. This form of communication is advantageous because direct and immediate feedback is possible. If a doubt occurs, if a doubt occurs, you can get its reply or solution at the same time. Yes, so it can be clarified instantly. Non-verbal communication plays a major role in the interpretation of a message in this form of communication. So one of the most important feature of this interpersonal communication is that non-verbal communication, non-verbal communication plays non-verbal communication plays an important role in conveying message clearly. Yes, students, non-verbal means by expressions. Non-verbal means by expressions. You can make your information more effective. Yes. So we are talking about interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication, this type of communication or the communication at this level can include lots of examples like a meeting with your boss. Yes, talking with your friend. Yes, talking with anyone. Two people, more than two people, or among people. So, this interpersonal communication just involves people, not a single one. Okay, so it is different from intrapersonal communication. When you go to market to purchase something and you talk with the shopkeeper, it is also one example of interpersonal communication. Okay, so next to this, we have the third or the fourth level, that is organizational communication. Organizational communication. So in this organizational communication, as the word itself is reflecting, that the word that an organization has lots of hierarchical levels. You can see there are multiple layers of people working at different levels at different designations. And here you can also notice that there are lots of forms of communication. Yes, lots of people working together. So communication in an organization takes place at different hierarchical levels. So this is one of the most important feature of organizational communication, that it occurs at different hierarchical levels. Hierarchical levels. Yes, it is extremely necessary for the sustenance of any organization. Means if all these levels will not communicate, there will be no sustenance or progress of an organization. So it's very necessary for an organization to talk at this level, to talk from one level to another level. Since a large number of employees are involved in several different activities, the need of the need of communication becomes more important. With a proper networking system, communication in an organization is possible even without direct contact of employees. Yes? So think of communication which occurs in an organization, like it can be divided in two forms. One is internal operational. Internal operational. Internal operational means all communication that occurs in conducting work within an organization is classified as internal operational. Yes, within the organization. Within the organization. Next is external operational. External operational. Like internal operation means when you are doing something in an organization, you're talking with the people working in your same organization and you are transferring your ideas and information from one another in the same organization, that is internal operational. Just opposite to this internal, that there is external operational communication, that is the work related communication that an organization undertakes with people outside the organization, outside the organi- organization. Yes, after this organizational communication, the last level is bigger than this. Organizational is complete. After this organizational level, we have another, that is mass communication. Okay, In this mass communication, as you are seeing that mass is involved, lots of people are involved in this communication. For this kind of communication, we require a mediator. We need one mediator or communicator to transmit information. In this mass communication, we need one mediator or communicator to transmit information. There are several mass media. Yes, if we are talking about mediator, so there are lots of or several mass media which are working at this level, like journals. Journals are there, books, books are there, television, television is there, and newspapers, yes, which channelize such communication. Since the messages are for a large people, for a big audience, an anonymous audience that is heterogeneous, the approach is impersonal. So, one thing to be noticed that is at this level, the approach is impersonal. Approach is impersonal. Impersonal means it is not related to single one, it is related to all. A journal is read by all. A book can be read by anyone. Television is seen by anyone, and a newspaper is read by all. It goes to each and every area or place of the world. Okay, so it is a piece of mass communication. It is an example of mass communication. So all these medias are used in mass communication. Press interviews given by the chairman of a large firm, advertisements for a particular product, yes, are the example of mass communication. Yes, this mass communication can also take two forms. One is oral, another is written. Okay, so these are the forms of written communication. You can also see there are television reports, there are reporters which give you live information of any incident or accident. So these are the two forms. This media requires to be more work to be done, efforts from the side of the editor. So this editor is known as in written communication. There is one editor of newspaper and all. So this editor is known as gatekeeper. Gatekeeper. And this is only required at this level at mass communication because there is some information which is to be sent in common to public. So there is a need to check it to see whether this information is correct or not. So there is one gatekeeper, that is the editor of a newspaper. This is known as gatekeeper. So finally, we can see that there are three features of this mass communication. One is it is impersonal, impersonality, impersonality of mass communication. Number two, it has a large reach. It has a large reach means it is for all, not for one. And there is a presence of gatekeeper, presence of a gatekeeper. Yes, students, so here I can know that you have understood this topic very well, that at how many levels we talk. There are five levels: extrapersonal, intrapersonal, interpersonal, organizational, and mass communication. In extrapersonal communication, we talk with non human entities. At intrapersonal level, you talk with yourself. In interpersonal communication, we talk with people, or there is a talk among people. In mass communication, because there are lots of levels at which we talk, so there are lots of means of communication. At the final level, that is mass communication, here there are lots of sources. Clear? So after understanding the levels of communication, here we have to discuss the flow of communication. We have to discuss flow of communication. So here we are discussing about the flow of communication. Flow of communication means the transmission of information in different directions. Where it flows, from where it flows, to which place it flows, who expressed this information. Yes, so we are here we are understanding this flow of information. Information flows in an organization both formally and informally. So in an organization, communication flows in two forms: formally and informally. The term formal communication refers to communication that flows in an organization for some purpose. Yes, formal means with some purpose. Informally means whenever the people feel free, they can talk and they can give a message without any purpose, means they can also talk personally. That is known as informal communication. Informal means without a purpose. Yes, so formal communication or informal communication. Yes, formal. In other words, we can say that it flows through formal channels, the main lines of organizational communication. Internal operational and external operational communication can be described as formal. While discussing about levels of communication, we understood about organizational communication, which was external operational and external operational communication. So, these two forms of communication are formal communication, external and internal operational communication. In fact, the bulk of communication that a business needs in order to operate flows through these channels. Yes. For example, when a manager instructs a subordinate on some matter, or when an employee brings a problem to a supervisor's attention, the communication is formal. Similarly, when two employees interact to discuss a customer's order, there is a formal communication. Information of various kinds flowing through formal channels such as policy or procedures, changes, orders, instructions, confidential reports, etc., is classified as formal communication. This type of communication can flow in various directions. If we will talk about the directions of communication, so here we can see that there are directions like downward, downward, upward, lateral, lateral or horizontal, than diagonal. So these are the flows communication, different flows, different directions of communication. Downward communication has this sign, downward. Upward is like this, upward. Lateral is like this, yes, and diagonal shows this one. It may occur like this, or we can say that this diagonal communication has no clear direction. No clear direction. Yes, downward is showing that the information is coming from upside to downward, and this upward arrow is showing that the information is running or coming from the lower one to the higher one. Lateral communication is representing that neither there is a information which is coming from upward or from lowerward, but just there is a communication among people working at the same level, same hierarchy, working at same designation. And this diagonal is showing that there is no direct information, there is neither this nor this. Yes, so we can't see these two arrows, or neither there is this arrow. So it is just covering this flow of communication, that Anybody is informing to anybody, or anybody can talk freely to anyone without using a direct channel of communication. And this is more significant if we will talk about an organization, because there are lots of people working at different designations, so they are free to talk from one another, and it is known as diagonal communication when they talk to anyone. Yes, students. So we will begin from downward communication. Downward. Downward is reflected by this arrow coming downward. Downward communication. Yes. Downward communication flows from a manager down the chain of command. When managers inform, instruct, advise, or request their subordinates, the communication flows in a downward pattern. Okay? So, how many things we can see here? Giving information, giving information, instruction, instructions, advice, request. Okay? To subordinates. To subordinates. So, downward communication shows that it comes from upward people to subordinates. To subordinates. And this communication may include giving information, giving instructions, giving advice, giving request. Yes, this is generally used to convey routine information, new policies, procedures, to seek clarification, to ask for an analysis, etc. Yes, so this is generally used to for convey routine information, routine information, routine information, new policies, procedures, or to seek clarification, to ask for an analysis, etc. Also, superiors send feedback about their subordinates' actions through this channel. I mean to say that even the superiors send their feedback to the subordinates, that how they performed their work. Such communication increases awareness about the organization among subordinates and employees. It enables managers to evaluate the performance of their subordinates. Downward communication can take any form. The examples of downward communications are, examples we can see: memos, notices, face-to-face interactions, face-to-face interactions, and telephonic conversations. So, however, this should be adequately balanced by an upward flow of communication. So here we have seen that downward communication is for the purposes like information, instructions, advice, and request. And we also use it to convey routine informations, new policies, etc. And the examples for downward communications: memos, notices, face-to-face conversations, and interactions. Another level is another flow, that is upward communication. this flow is seen by this arrow going upward. So as we have seen here that the seniors were instructing to subordinates, and here just opposite to this downward communication, the juniors or the subordinates give their information or transact the information to their seniors, to their managers. Yes. So when subordinates send reports to inform their superiors or to present their findings and recommendations, the communication flows upward. This type of communication keeps managers aware of how employees feel about their jobs, colleagues, and the organization in general. Managers also rely on upward communication for making certain decisions or solving some problems which concern the organization. So here you are seeing that this upward communication means the information which comes from the juniors, which comes from the subordinates, is very much helpful for the seniors or managers to take any important decision. Yes, so this role of juniors in taking a decision is very important, which is made by the superiors. The extent of upward communication, especially that which is initiated from the lowest level, depends on the organizational culture. If there is a democratic culture, definitely the employees will be involved while taking a decision. They definitely will be involved in sharing their problems easily. Okay. In an open culture without too many hierarchical levels, managers are able to create a climate of trust and respect, and implement participative decision making or empowerment. Here, there will be considerable upward communication. This is mainly because employees provide the input for managerial decisions. So, one most important thing which is noticed here, that decisions are taken after a big participation of subordinates. So subordinates are very much important here, where there is a democratic environment. Another level or another flow, the flow or direction is lateral or horizontal. Horizontal communication. Lateral or horizontal communication, first we will define it. This form of communication takes place among peer groups. This word is noticeable here, peer groups. Peer groups or hierarchically equivalent employees. Such communication is often necessary to facilitate coordination, save time, and bridge the communication gap among various departments. Occasionally, these lateral relationships are formally sanctioned, but generally they are informally created by to bypass the formal hierarchical channels and expedite action. Peer group means the people working at similar level, the people who are at same designation, and they talk from one to another person. So there is no senior, no junior. So lateral or horizontal communication means when there is a communication among people working at the same level or same designation. Yes. Lateral communication enables the sharing of information with the view to appreciate the peer group of activities of a department. The vice president sending some survey results in the form of a memo to the vice president for further action is an example of lateral communication, because here vice president is sending some information to another vice president. Yes, this type of communication is very vital for the growth of an organization as it builds cooperation among the various branches. In organizations where work is centralized, it plays a greater role because there is a higher probability of communication gaps. So, lateral or horizontal communication is very much important in an organization. Another direction or the flow of communication is diagonal or crosswise. Crosswise communication as the word itself is reflecting this one, crosswise communication, diagonal or crosswise communication. Diagonal or crosswise communication flows in all directions and cuts across functions and levels in an organization. For example, when a sales manager communicates directly with the vice president of production, who is not only in a different division but also at a higher level in an organization, they are engaged in diagonal communication. Though this form of communication deviates from the normal chain of command, there is no doubt that it is quick and efficient. In some situations, ignoring vertical or horizontal channels expedites action and prevents other employees from being used merely as conduits between senders and receivers. The increased use of email also encourages crosswise communication. Crosswise means anybody is informing to anybody, and it is quite different from this direct. This is also direct, and this is also very direct channel. But this flow of communication never implies this direct upward, downward, horizontal. Yes, but it is a mixture of all directions, like anybody is informing to anybody. So, the increased use of emails also encourages crosswise communication. Any employee can communicate by email with another employee, regardless of receiver's function or status. Since there is no specific line of command, diagonal communication is also referred to as a radial or circular communication, depending upon the structure of the organization. So, because here we are talking about the structure of organization, so here we will see the structure of organization just to see this direction. Yes. For instance, a managing director could directly call a supervisor and give instructions. Yes. To clarify this topic, you student need to make the diagram, okay, of an organization, because to understand these flows of communication, it is very important to draw this organizational structure. See this. You can draw a diagram of an organization as we have discussed earlier, that an organization is a multiple layer of different type of people having different designations and ranks. So here you can see that one managing director is here, managing director, then director 1, director 2, director 3, and then manager 1, manager 2, manager 3, and then again manager 1, manager 2, manager 3, manager 1 again. Okay, so here we will draw these directions, like first one is downward. Yes, downward. Another is upward. Upward. Yes, then diagonal or crosswise. You can see here. This is a diagonal or crosswise. Then again horizontal or lateral. Horizontal or lateral. Horizontal or lateral means a communication among the people or between people working at the same designation. So it is very important to draw this diagram just to show the flow of communication in an organization. So communication flows in how many directions? In four directions. Downward, which comes from superiors to subordinates. Upward, which goes from subordinates to seniors. Diagonal means anybody is informing to anyone without referring to designation or status. And horizontal communication among the people or between people working at the same level. Yes, so these are the flow of communication.